right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Let's go ahead and get into this one time. Frank Monday coming at ya. Once again, like Finnegan, straight out the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon. Twilight Zone Old Peking. Hope you are doing well, Wayfarer, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. Welcome, one and all. It's y'all, Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Frater Francis Lunas Aristeus of the Ordo Templi Aristarte. Just checking the feedback loop, guys. I want to make sure that we are in fact transmitting okay. That background music's a little bit much. Let's see if the old YouTube is responding. Doesn't look like it is. Is the Baphomet evil? This is an open inquiry, guys. That means if you've got a yen to expand your kin, then let's get zen. You and me, baby. Check it out one time with Frank Monday. Why not? Right? What have you got better to do on a, I don't know, it's like Friday morning for most people in the Western world. If you're over here on this side of the planet, then it'll be different. It'll be evening. Because we're in the abodes of evening here, guys. We are indeed. I would remind you, visitor, whether you're out there in the chitter chatter box or tuning in from your phone or whatever the case may be, make sure you like and subscribe. Why not? Get the thing done, right? Just all you gotta do is tap the button. Just hit it, tickle it, titillate it, stimulate it, poke at it, rub it, do whatever it takes to make it happen. But for sure, do it. This thing just play next in queue. We'll see if that works. Oh, experience a more premium YouTube. If you want to play things next in queue, you have got to pay. It says here on YouTube, get premium. Well, how about if I just click the fucking thing and you play it correctly? How about that? It won't even let me check my feedback loop anymore. So guys, I don't even know if this is transmitting clearly or not. But you know what? I'm not going to worry about it, man. I'm just going to roll with the punches. This old, I don't know what it even is, man. What is it? The dark mirror, right? With the Baghdad batteries hooked up to it. Solomonic magic transmitting via this demoniacal device into your headset, straight into your brain. Trying to get it done, man. We might do some free tarot readings if you guys are down for that. Otherwise, we'll read a little I and Thou. And we're going to talk about the Baphomet, right? Possibly talk about Dagon a little bit. Someone was asking me about that earlier. Dr. Dagon himself, right? He's like, what's up with that, Frank Monday? With no further ado, let's launch in with a prayer. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness, he who was, is, and shall be. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us one of your divine spiritual agents, our holy guardian angel, to protect and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere, and a cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Teach us those secret things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name, Adonai. So it is commanded and confirmed, so mote it be. Amen. I would remind you, Wayfarer, that we're really super close to 1,000 subs. We're probably not going to get it done before the end of the year, but we got a couple of weeks left, right? I'd like to reach 1,000 subs. It's taken me over 10 years to try to get there, but who knows, right? If you tell a friend or hit the button, someone might sub up. You never know. Guys, have you heard of TML, the Machine Lies? He's about to win the Grand Pupa Guru status here on YouTube in the Panelverse, the Dramaverse, right? The Machine Lies 9534. Check him out here on YouTube. He does a really good show. I'll let him tell you about it. The man himself, with no further ado, the Machine Lies.
Lies of the machine on the machine that lies. Basically, on the stream, The Machine Lies, we're taking a very critical look at technology. So the reason we're doing that is because we're looking at the medium that is used to communicate, right, and transmit information, right? We don't think that any form of mediation is neutral, right, but it's laden with values. And so I think that the well has been polluted by technology. So obviously we take a critical look at technology, right? We're looking at different concepts in relation to technology, right? In terms of philosophy, right? And in terms of religion. Now, that is one of the main purposes of the show, is that we really look at where technology and religion, science, and spirituality, where those things intersect, right? Because there's a crisis of the modern world in which there's a majority of the modern world is religious people. Their mindset is secular, and the means they employ are secular. We're living in a post-liberal, post-human, post-geological age, right? So we're talking about the death of liberalism, the rise of the world technological system. Now, we do think that, there's a considerable level of externalization of the ego, and mediation of ourselves through the means we employ. So obviously, we shape tools, but the tools we use shape us, right? So that's one of the main things we're trying to get across on the show, is how technology changes human psychology. If you question the means you employ and what the objective factors of power are in our age, right, then that's the most important question you can ask. Right, that's the most critical stance you could actually take, right? Like, most people don't question, how or what means they use to question, to ask the question itself, right? So we're actually taking a critical look at technology, right, as a primary form of communication, as an objective factor of power in our age, right? And we think that basically we're assuming that a lot of the stuff that we see through this medium is totally made up, right, fabricated, and that is based on the fact that it is artifice. It's produced by a machine, right? So we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies.
True facts right there, guys. TML, The Machine Lies 9534. Definitely check him out. Nobody's doing what Dr. Kong is doing over at The Machine Lies. It's the real deal. It's a long, deep-seated inquiry into religion, politics, technology, culture, and how humanity is interacting with those things. And so, if you haven't yet, why not? Fuck, get over there, get it done. Make sure you check him out. Tell him Frank Monday sent you. I could use a bit of the notoriety. And you guys, some of you may be first-time listeners here on FM radio, Frank Monday radio, right? And you might be thinking, who the fuck is this old motherfucking Frank Monday? What's he got going on over there in Twilight Zone, old P. King? And why should I be interested in tuning in and listening to his FM radio jockey nonsense? Well, in order to sum that up, I made a little bit of an introduction for myself. So with no further ado, the Frank Monday intro. Enjoy. Monday Productions coming at ya.
Jesus is the Savior. Jesus is the Savior. Jesus is the Almighty God. Jesus is the Almighty God. Jesus is the Lord. Jesus is the Lord. Jesus is the Lord. Jesus is the
Okay, guys, our next comedian is a bit of a treat, to be honest. It is a bit of a treat. He's been away for 3 years. He is now back from the dead. Well, America. Give a big round of applause for Frank Monday. Did anyone order a pizza?
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that shit. Nick's a good man. I know what that's like, being a good man. It's tough in a fucking city like this, though. You know, nobody gives a fuck. They're like, God damn, that's some crazy shit. Motherfucker wearing high heels and shit. Looking good, too, huh? Yeah, you guys like that. That's all right. It's okay to fall down occasionally. I do that sometimes. All right, being back in the Jing is pretty fucking nerve-wracking. You know, performing for 4 minutes straight. The only other time I get this anxious when I gotta perform for 4 minutes straight is when I gotta make love to my wife.
Onion ring. Yeah, they're all right.
Hey, be watching for the Star Wars blog Rebellion coming out in December. You'll love it. It's follow-up to the award-winning Generations. Oh yeah. There you go, Frank.
Here's my burger. All right, all right, all right. There it is there. Looking good. Yeah, good magic out on the California coastline. That was Huntington. I believe I was at Huntington that day. I might have been at Seal Beach. It's kind of hard to say sometimes, you know. One beach turns into another. They're all just sandy bottoms looking to get tickled and stimulated and washed by the great ocean. Make sure you guys seize the opportunity. Get on over there to buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Put a little something in the tip jar. Get it done. Get it done now. Do not hesitate, right? I got a date to skate and I can't be late. No time to hesitate, and don't you hate on a skater that just wants to get shit done, right? Yo, good looking sexy people, you know what's up. You know what's up. Do you know what's up? That's the big question everybody wants to know. Wash it away one time, good Lord. Appreciate you. I certainly do. Where am I at? What the fuck happened to old Frank Monday on the FM radio? Broadcasting to you from the central kingdom of the celestial dragon. We're going to get into it, man. We're going to find out if the Baphomet is evil. You never know, man. You know what I mean? Like, check it out. We got a beautiful AI rendered Baphomet with the magician. All right, the devil card. Yeah, I inverted it here, you know, because I don't like the devil being above the magician. He should be below in his proper place, chained to the obsidian Satyrian altar, right? So let's make sure we get that done correctly. And one way we can do that is with the invocation of Tahuti. Let's get it in there one time. Is beloved Sir Francis Israel Regardi and the invocation of Thoth.
Invocation of Thoth. Procul, o procul esti profani, lasti ompeda. In the name of the mighty and terrible one, I proclaim that I have banished the shells unto their habitations. I invoke Tahuti, the Lord of wisdom and of utterance, the God that cometh forth from the veil. O thou majesty of the Godhead, wisdom-crowned Tahuti, Lord of the gates of the universe, thee I invoke. O thou of the ibis head, thee I invoke. Thou who wieldest the wand of double power, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest in thy left hand the rose and cross of light and life, thee I invoke. Thou whose head is as an emerald, and thy nemes as the night sky blue, thee I invoke. Thou whose skin is of flaming orange as though it burned in a furnace, thee I invoke. Behold, I am yesterday, today, and the brother of tomorrow. I am born again and again. Mine is the unseen force whereof the gods are sprung, which is as life unto the dwellers in the watchtowers of the universe. I am the charioteer of the east, lord of the past and of the future. I see by mine own inward light, Lord of resurrection, who cometh forth from the dusk, and my birth is from the house of death. O ye two divine hawks upon your pinnacles, who keep watch over the universe, ye who company the bier to the house of rest, who pilot the ship of wrong, ever advancing onwards the heights of heaven, Lord of the shrine which standeth in the center of the earth. Behold, he is in me, and I in him. Mine is the radiance wherein Ptah floateth over the firmament. I travel upon high. I tread upon the firmament of new. I raise that flashing flame with the lightning of mine eye, ever rushing on in the splendor of the daily glorified Ra, giving my life to the dwellers of earth. If I say, come up upon the mountains, the celestial waters shall flow at my word. For I am Ra incarnate, Heph-Ra, created in the flesh. I am the eidolon of my father Tamu, Lord of the city of the sun. The God who commands is in my mouth. The God of wisdom is in my heart. My tongue is the sanctuary of truth, and a God sitteth upon my lips. My word is accomplished every day, and the desire of my heart realizes itself as that of Ptah when he createth his works. I am eternal, therefore all things are as my designs, therefore do all things obey my word. Therefore do thou come forth unto me from thine abode in the silence, unutterable wisdom, or light, or power. Thoth, Hermes, Mercury, Odin, by whatever name I call thee, thou art still nameless to eternity. Come thou forth, I say, and aid and guard me in this work of art. Thou, star of the east, that didst conduct the Magi, thou art the same all present in heaven and in hell. Thou that vibratest between the light and the darkness, rising, descending, changing ever, yet ever the same. The sun is thy father, thy mother the moon. The wind hath borne thee in its bosom, and earth hath ever nourished the changeless Godhead of thy youth. Come thou forth, I say, come thou forth, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God the vast one may be obedient unto me.
So it is commanded and confirmed, so mote it be. Amen. Remember, O neophyte, goodness alone is power, silence is strength, will regaineth omnipotence, and love lieth at the foundation. For is not love the law, love under will? The great beast Aleister Crowley once quipped, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." The most important factor one can influence is the complete single-pointedness, which can be represented by the symbol of the ancient symbol of the sun, a circle with a dot in the middle. Next is the subtle environment of the will and its responsiveness. It can in fact be imagined as a channel guide, like Channel Island surfboards, right? Which is a moon or an E with which the wizarding will passes through. It must penetrate on the path of manifestation. So with the active process of the magical intention, the GIF might look as such, which you can't see because it's here in my journal. And I haven't chosen to share my journals with the profane swine of the internet, the goyim, as it were. All right. But if you'd like a little more insight, you could definitely check me out on buymeacoffee.com and put some shekels in the hat. Right. This is fitting because of the stretching of the will by the E is the very act of magic. And the final moment before the volantia is realized and your germ of control becomes a God particle of influence is manifest as such. If you'd like to learn more about Pathways of Magi, you could check out some of my backlog on it, or you can petition me directly. We're going to be getting into Baphomet, guys, and figuring out how evil it really is, right? And whether or not it's been misconstrued as a form of evil that isn't in fact evil at all. It might be the blazing star, yeah, Lucifer. Some refer to him by many names. But we're going to do good magic either way. We're going to roll back that music a little bit because it is a little bit overbearing. And what does this do? It says train whistle. Maybe that's fun. No, that didn't work. I didn't hear a train whistle. Did you guys hear a train whistle? Did you hear a gong? Yeah. Oh, there, the gong worked. Nice. Nice. Okay, yeah. Tone that down just a bit, guys. Let's get into it. Let's find out a little more about the Baphomet.
On October 13th, 1307, an entire order of warrior monks collapsed in a single morning, and the reason was a name whispered under torture: Baphomet. Legends claim the Knights Templar worshipped a demonic idol, but the historical record reveals something far more calculated and far more dangerous. The word Baphomet appears in confessions, chronicles, and secret trials, yet none of the testimonies describe the same thing. That inconsistency isn't an error. It's the first clue to a hidden doctrine buried beneath Jerusalem, encrypted inside a single name that has outlived kings, crusades, and inquisitions. Once we decode what Baphomet really means, the entire history of Western esotericism stops being a collection of symbols and becomes a system with a terrifying purpose.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Look at that demoniacal image, right? They've done some real work with the AI generator. That wouldn't be a hard thing to draw, though. But right, we have this nun-like figure with her legs spread, arching her back as the demonic black goat of the woods with 1,000 young is about to mount her, right? That's what it looks like. This is the good right here, right? This devilish pan-like god with his hands in the shalom posture as he's about to inseminate this vessel, as it were, this receptive vessel of the earthly, right, earthly women. And if you were to just look at this at face value, you might think, oh, good God, isn't that demonic? But let's find out a little more.
Let's begin. In 1119, 9 French knights arrived in Jerusalem with a mission that made no sense. They told King Baldwin II they wanted to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. The king granted them headquarters in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, built directly on top of the ruins of Solomon's Temple. And then these 9 knights, Hugues de Payan, Godfrey de Saint-Omer, André de Montbard, and 6 others, did something strange.
Yeah, what's wrong with those others? What's wrong with the other 6, right? Why didn't they mention those? What about Henri, son to the Count Louis, right? What about Robert and Armand? Why not mention those? Yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. Some people get forgotten to time. The vicissitudes tend to erase everyone's name ultimately. Imagine how long names such as Jesus Cristo and Socrates have persisted throughout time, right? They must have been pretty substantial figures. People these days in the Dramaverse, they're like, oh, I'm somebody. I've got 1,000 subs. You could have 10 million subs, man, and ain't nobody going to remember you in 50 years. Just the way things go. You better do something. Better live a life worth remembering, right?
For 9 years, they protected no pilgrims. They recruited no members. They fought no battles. They vanished from public records as if they had ceased to exist. But they hadn't ceased to exist. They were digging. Muslim sources from the period confirm it. Ibn al-Athir, writing in the early 1300s, states, a group of Frankish knights established themselves in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, claiming to protect pilgrims. But Muslims working in the area reported they were digging beneath the foundations. British archaeologists in the 1860s discovered these tunnels. Medieval excavations descending through layers of Ottoman, Crusader, Islamic, Byzantine, Roman, and Herodian construction, all the way down to bedrock. Down to the original foundations laid by Solomon nearly 2,000 years before the Templars arrived. These weren't random tunnels. They were systematic, precise, as if the diggers knew exactly where to go, as if they had maps or texts telling them what to look for. What were they looking for? To understand that, we need to know what Solomon's temple actually was. The Bible presents it as a house of worship. But there's another tradition, preserved in texts the church later declared heretical. The Testament of Solomon, dated between the 1st and 5th centuries, describes how King Solomon commanded 72 demons using a ring inscribed with the seal of God.
And what was that seal of God, Wayfarer? Do you know the answer to the riddle of the Sphinx? Have you seen beyond the veil into times that have not yet been and times that may never be, to carve the grotesque curvilinear hieroglyphics into the golden band, one band to rule them all, where future, intuition, attention, and memory reside, awareness of the shadow self, the present moment, the awareness and focus of the self, ego, and critical factor must be overcome. You must pass beyond the first guardian at the threshold, he who holds the key to dreaming. Randolph Carter passed through the snake den, October 7th, 1928.
He forced these demons to build his temple using supernatural knowledge. And when the temple was complete, Solomon didn't release them. He bound them in brass vessels and sealed them in vaults beneath the temple. But the Testament describes something else Solomon sealed below. Quote, books containing the secret of the name written on plates of gold. The secret of the name. In Kabbalistic tradition, this refers to the Tetragrammaton, YHWH.
Interesting, they should choose W for their AI schlop generated voice when it's actually V or vowel, right? Yod He Vav He Yahava. Yod He Vav He, the unutterable, ineffable name of God. Yaldabaoth, Abraxas, Abrahadabra, Wayfarer. Welcome back.
But not just as letters. The secret involves the correct pronunciation, the proper vowel points, the precise state of consciousness required to invoke the name's power. With this knowledge, a human being could perform what appeared to be miracles. The Copper Scroll, one of the Dead Sea Scrolls, provides a treasure map of what was hidden before the Babylonians destroyed the first temple in 586 BCE. It lists 64 locations containing gold, silver, and sacred vessels. But it also mentions books, vessels, objects whose purposes aren't specified. The Emek Hamelech, a Hebrew text from 1648 claiming to preserve older traditions, states explicitly that Levite priests hid the Ark of the Covenant, the tablets of law, Aaron's rod, and most importantly, books containing secret knowledge in chambers beneath the temple.
He said Levite priests. I believe it should be Levite. But anyway, my family tradition is supposedly derived from the Levites, right? So as a blood vessel of the Levites, I am entitled to wear the tabernacle of faith, the 12 zodiacal stones. But it is what it is, right? Yeah. The only chosen people are those who choose to be chosen.
This is what waited in the darkness when 9 Templars began digging in 1119. For 9 years they excavated. For 9 years they descended into chambers sealed for over 1,000 years. For 9 years they found things, read things, learned things, and in 1129 everything changed. The Templars emerged from obscurity and attended the Council of Troy. They received official papal recognition. Bernard of Clairvaux wrote their formal rule. Within years, 9 unknown knights had transformed into a military order with hundreds of members, vast wealth, and political power rivaling kingdoms.
Yes, indeed, man. That's what it's all about right there. I mean, why languish on the sidelines of life when you can get directly involved in the entire concourse of unification with source energy? It's up to you, Wayfarer. I mean, you can get involved or you can just stand on the sidelines twiddling your motherfucking thumbs. Either way, you know, it's your decision, right? Essentially.
What changed? They had found something beneath Jerusalem, something that gave them knowledge and confidence that terrified both church and crown. And they encoded what they found in a single word: Baphomet. Moving forward, we need to examine the accusations themselves, because hidden in the contradictory confessions extracted under torture is the key to understanding what Baphomet actually meant. On October 13th, 1307, King Philip IV of France ordered the simultaneous arrest of every Templar in his kingdom. The charges were designed to shock: heresy, denying Christ, spitting on the cross, obscene rituals during initiation.
Yeah, supposedly not just spitting on the cross, but pouring blood on it, ejaculating on it, right? Making love to the goat, riding the goat, as they call it in Freemasonry. People, even to this day, they constantly attempt to vilify the Templar Knights, those of us with the pure blood that have been endowed to carry forth the Christos, the chalice, right? They just, they don't get it, man. Like, J-Dog this, J-Dog that. We didn't kill enough of you during World War II, is what they would scream from the walls, right? Crucify him! Yeah. Good luck with that. You can't get us all, man. You can't get us all.
And at the center of it all, worship of a mysterious idol called Baphomet. The timing of the arrests was deliberate. Friday the 13th, a date that would forever after be considered unlucky, branded into European consciousness by this act of betrayal. Philip was drowning in debt to the Templars. Their banking system controlled European finance.
Indeed, as it still does much today, right? I mean, usury, this entire system is a perverse, decadent system that old Jesus, right? Jesus Christ, if he were there, he'd take out the bullwhip and whip the money changers. How dare you desecrate my father's temple?
Their wealth exceeded that of most kingdoms, and most dangerous of all, they operated with independence that suggested they considered themselves above royal and even papal authority. Philip needed to destroy them and seize their wealth. Pope Clement V, essentially Philip's puppet, provided the religious justification. The Inquisition went to work. The methods were refined through centuries of extracting heresy from Cathars, Waldensians, and other enemies of orthodoxy. The strappado, where victims hung by their wrists, tied behind their backs until shoulders dislocated. The rack.
Gruesome tortures, right? I mean, who was the greater evil? The church itself, which persecuted basically innocent people in horrific, grotesque, and torturous ways. The levels of debauchery that we really haven't seen since. I mean, would you rather have a bomb drop straight on your house, or would you rather be stretched on the rack for 6 weeks until you starve to death? I guess the end result doesn't matter either way, right? You got to get those old Gollum, hang 'em high, get a rope.
Stretching bodies until joints separated. Feet roasted over coals until bones showed through charred flesh. And the question, repeated endlessly, tell us about Baphomet. The confessions came, but they were strange, contradictory, almost hallucinatory in their inconsistency. Brother Jean Taillefer described a bearded head with skin like tarnished silver that seemed to glow in the darkness of the chapter house. Brother Rainier de Larchon spoke of a skull adorned with jewels, positioned between 2 candles, which knights kissed during secret ceremonies while murmuring words in an unknown language.
Yeah, that self-same skull supposedly is kept in the crypt at Yale University, right? The old bonesman, skull and bones, Carrie, Bush, the usual suspects, hook nose, beady eye, curly hair, old J-Dog's at it again.
Brother Hugh de Perraud testified about a great cat, black as void, that appeared during initiations and whose eyes reflected flames that weren't there.
Yeah, I believe they called him Nigger Man, right? Was that what the prophet of our Aeon gave for the moniker of that obsidian night black cat? Old Nigger Man.
Others described something that sounded more like an experience than an object. A presence that descended during secret rituals, filling the chamber with pressure that made ears ring and hearts race. Some said it appeared as a column of smoke, taking vaguely humanoid form. Some swore it was a head with 3 faces, young, mature, and ancient, rotating slowly to gaze upon each initiate. Some claimed it wasn't visible at all, but made itself known through a voice, speaking directly into the mind. The Inquisitors, working within medieval demonology, could only interpret this through one lens: devil worship. But here's what's crucial.
Wait a good goddamn minute. Are you trying to tell me that he burned his wife alive as a sacrifice to the devil? Looks like he's giving that old Baphomet a BJ. They really painted these folks with some dark, decadent, perverse tendencies, right? Back in the day when homosexuality was considered a mental illness and you could be locked in an asylum and given a lobotomy for such barbarous acts.
If the Templars truly worshipped a physical idol in their secret ceremonies, why couldn't they agree on what it looked like? Why did some describe a head, others a skull, others a cat, others an invisible presence? The answer is that Baphomet wasn't a thing. It was a teaching, a doctrine.
What'd that fucking AI say? Baphomet. Baphomet. Just, I mean, why can't they get a simple word consistently correct? It's a Baphomet, right? Hermes Trismegistus, the OG hermaphrodite. Imagine how rare hermaphrodites are. You might want to get online and ask your old AI buddy What is the ratio of true hermaphrodites within any species? And then you'll have an answer to your gender fluidity. Look at that Luciferian symbol behind him. Can you see that, Wayfarer? Can you perceive the symbolism?
A body of knowledge that was shown to initiates at different levels in different forms depending on their readiness to understand. Several Templars, even under torture, used identical strange phrases. They called Baphomet our salvation and the source of our prosperity. They claimed it revealed the error of the church and showed what Christ truly taught before his words were corrupted. This doesn't sound like devil worship. This sounds like Gnosticism, the ancient heresy teaching that the church itself was the work of a false god.
Oh no, there it is there. So they were, in fact, Gnostic Cathars, weren't they? And they weren't bringing forth an evil, homosexual, deprived, debaucherous, lecherous, lascivious teaching. No, in fact, the opposite was true. They actually were renunciants, and they did fight evil. They were the monks of the ancient order, and they wanted to promote goodness and convenience, frugalness, frivolity, these types of Boy Scout style virtues, right? But they were vilified, of course. I mean, what are you going to do when you're wearing a mitre cap on top of your head and collecting all of the gold, and supposedly you're the only intermediary between God and the people? This orthodoxy, the doctrine and the dogma, it's disgusting. Indeed, Wayfarer, you've arrived, and now you know.
That Christ came to reveal secret knowledge rather than to die for sins. That salvation comes through gnosis rather than faith and obedience. Jacques de Molay, the Grand Master, initially confessed under torture. Most men would. The human body has limits, and the Inquisition had centuries of experience finding them. But then, de Molay did something remarkable. As he was being paraded before the public as an example of repentant heresy, he recanted everything. In front of assembled crowds, he proclaimed the Templars innocent and declared his confessions had been extracted through unbearable suffering.
Yeah, so he was basically the OG, right? Jacques de Molay. He said, hey, suck a fucking dick. All of this is horseshit. And you must absolutely at some point recant evil and stand on the side of faith, truth, and light. Otherwise, oh my God in heaven, forever your soul will suffer damnation, dissolution, and deprivation from God's eternal light. Ain't no kind of good thing, man. Ain't nothing you want to do, amigo, hermano, right? Beloved. You want to make sure you stand in the faith and grace of God alone. And before you endeavor to do anything, think, speak, or act, ask for God's approbation first and foremost.
This sealed his fate. On March 18th, 1314, Jacques de Molay and Geoffrey de Charny were burned alive on a slow fire on an island in the Seine River. As flames consumed him, de Molay's voice carried across the water. He cursed King Philip and Pope Clement, summoning them to meet him before God's throne within a year to answer for their crimes.
If you haven't done this, then you haven't stood in the temple of God. You have to at some point challenge the Father and stand on your own 2 feet and be like, God, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Either you give me a sign, right? You demandeth a sign. For he who demandeth a sign, no sign shall be given. But that's really just the horseshit of King James, right? When you demandeth a sign in great angst and frustration, a sign is given every time. God the Father will not ignore your humble request. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you.
Pope Clement died exactly 1 month later in terrible agony. King Philip died 7 months after that, when his horse threw him and his skull cracked on stone. Medieval observers didn't consider this coincidence. They whispered that de Molay's curse had power, that he had invoked forces that answered even from beyond death. But here's the question that should haunt us. Why did de Molay recant? He knew it meant the worst death imaginable. If he had maintained his false confession, he might have lived out his days in prison. Instead, he chose the fire. What was he protecting? What secret was so vital that even the certainty of burning alive couldn't make him betray it?
Yeah, it's kind of an easy thing, right? No se te ipsum, tu es Dios. So shall it be poison hemlock, de sacroti, sacrates? Or shall it be exile? Exile is a word they shout in hell. They scream it with the gnashing of teeth and the tearing of flesh. So it shall not be exile, not from God's grace. Give me the poisoned hemlock. Burn me alive if you must. Crucify him.
The answer lies in the word itself, Baphomet. Because this word, when properly decoded, reveals everything the Templars died to protect. Now, we arrive at the heart of the mystery. The word Baphomet contains multiple levels of meaning, each revealing deeper truths about what the Templars actually discovered. The word Baphomet
Yeah, so there it is there. We've reached the 1 hour mark, Wayfarers. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've got fucks to give. Go ahead and pull one out of your pocket, right? We're discussing the Baphomet. It's open to all. I believe I've pinned the link. So if anybody's out there in Happy Land, y'all good-looking, sexy people, make sure you hit the button, do the thing. Because typically, old Frank Monday, he won't go more than an hour without a little bit of interaction, a little bit of feedback loop, a little bit of I and thou. Even being the leader of the pack, as it were, right? The Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, who always initiates the 100-day challenge at the time of the equinoxes. You know, even old Frank Monday, he's got his limitations, right? He likes for you to hit the like button, do the thing, like and subscribe, keep those old YouTube algabots barking like Pavlov's dog. You got to do it now. Don't do it later. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. Nobody ever leaves any fucking comments. And do you know why? Because they don't give a fuck. Make sure you check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Money. Pull something in the tip jar. I'll tell you, a beloved listener of the show that has tuned in many times and stopped by to say hello has made quite a few contributions over at buymeacoffee.com/I'm not a criminal, right? And that's a beloved thing. It really does. It keeps me motivated to try to do at least a couple of live streams each week. Sometimes I don't hit my mark. Sometimes I only get one out there. But I like to create the shorts. I like to do the old live streams. And I like to tune into other people's shows. One really good one that I like a lot is The Machine Lies 9534. You guys can check it out for yourself. You don't have to take my recommendation or my opinion as fact at face value, right? You can get it done yourself, man. You can just get on over there and get her done, as they say in the countryside. We're always open to paranormal encounters. So if you have experienced a moment of high strangeness, maybe you've seen a Sasquatch or a fairy or a gnome. Perhaps you were down in the Caribbean and experienced the embrace of a water nymph, right? With her aquatic ways. Maybe you'd like to tell me about it. Open lines for paranormal encounters anytime and every time. Y'all good looking sexy people. I am trying to hit 1,000 subs, man. It's not an easy fucking road. I've on average for the last 10 years since I started my YouTube channel, I've gotten approximately 100 subs a year. And so that's about what it is. Hopefully I'll make my 100 subs mark this year and I'll hit and finally break that glass ceiling of shadow banning. And YouTube algorithm, YouTube algobots, YouTube, if you are listening, please let me break 1,000 subs. Circulate my shit a little bit more, right? I get 1,000 hits on all my shorts. Why can't I get 1,000 subs? Seems like a baseline equation to me, right? But I think that's when you actually start to get AdSense, and so they typically avoid it for many, many years. Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eyes, boy, so I can't see. Let's get right back into it, man. Let's find out a little more about the Baphomet, right? It's good magic.
But where did this word come from? What does it actually mean? Scholars and occultists have proposed numerous interpretations over the centuries. Each interpretation reveals a different layer of the teaching. Let's examine the most significant. The most important discovery came from Dr. Hugh Schoenfield, a British biblical scholar who worked on translating the Dead Sea Scrolls. Schoenfield knew that ancient Hebrew texts sometimes employed a substitution cipher called Atbash. This cipher appears in the Bible itself, particularly in the book of Jeremiah, where Sheshach is a coded reference to Babylon. The Atbash cipher works by reversing the Hebrew alphabet. The first letter, Aleph, becomes the last letter, Tav. The second letter, Bet, becomes the second to last, Shin.
Good God, it's the pronunciation of that Hebrew, man. That's terrible. It's Aleph, and the last letter is Tau. If I may, I will take you through the incantation, because the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, the 22 major arcana, and the 22 corpses at Golgotha, right? The bones of the head. Goal is something like this. It occurs in 3 sections of 7 with Tau to finish and reincarnate. Aleph, Beth, Gimel, Daleth, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun. Chet. Let me see where I got off. Aleph, Beth, Gimel, Daleth, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun. Samik, Ayin, Pei, Zadi, Quaf, Resh, Shin, Tau. Aleph, Beth, Gimel, Daleth, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun. Samik, Ayin, Pei, Zadi, Quaf, Resh, Shin. God, I'm a little bit out of practice, guys. Gotta do my practices. Otherwise, I'm letting down my ancestors and my teachers, which I would never want to be held guilty of. You know, if you don't arise before the Son of God in the morning, in the early morning hours when your ancestors and celestial spirits attempt to commune with you, you're actually, God rains down shame upon you. Only if you're a man. Women can sleep later. Go ahead, ladies. Sleep in. In fact, don't get up early. Don't bother us. Your energy is more yin. You should experience the night energy more. But young men, young man, if you're out on your way and you sleep in, then you're a sloth. You're a bad man. You got to get up early and start getting at it. Right? That's the way of the Lord, baby. That's the way it works. All these people out there claiming to be Christians when really they're infidels.
And so on through the entire alphabet. It's a simple cipher, but effective for encoding words you don't want outsiders to understand. Schoenfield applied the Atbash cipher to Baphomet, spelled in Hebrew letters: Bet, Peh, Vav, Mem, Tav. When you reverse these through Atbash, the result is Shin, Vav, Peh, Yod, Aleph, Sophia, the Greek word for wisdom. But not just any wisdom, divine wisdom, feminine wisdom, the very principle that Gnostic texts describe as emanating from the true God and falling into matter. In Gnostic cosmology, Sophia is both a cosmic force and a symbol of the soul's journey. She was an eon, a divine emanation from the pleroma, the realm of fullness, the true God beyond the false creator of this material world.
Yeah, they're getting a little deep in off center, in my opinion. It's worth listening to. It's worth experiencing. It's the Gnostic view. It's the whole hell realm, gravity pit, but it's not entirely accurate. It's just one of the interpolations of certain individuals' experiences in astral traveling through the divine light. But it's not all inconclusive, right? I would temper this with some Blavatsky and Steiner, and then in my opinion, you're going to have to get some admixture of Tao. Otherwise, you don't even have an understanding of the basic foundation of how spirit penetrates into matter. And I could help you with that directly, any one of you, if you're just willing to step forward and ask, and ye shall receive.
Sophia desired to know the Father directly, without her consort. This independent act caused her to fall from the pleroma into the kenoma, emptiness, the void, what would become the material universe. In her fall, Sophia gave birth to the Demiurge, the false god who would create the physical cosmos as a prison for divine sparks of consciousness. The Demiurge, ignorant of the true God beyond him, arrogantly declared, "I am God, and there is no other." This Demiurge is Yahweh, the jealous God of the Old Testament, who demands blood sacrifice and brutal conquest. The goal of Gnosticism is to rescue Sophia, both the cosmic Sophia trapped in matter and the Sophia within each human soul.
Yeah, blood sacrifice and conquest. We see that playing out time and time again, right? So it would seem to some extent that our beloved guru of the internet and the panelverse, Monsieur Jacques Talcou, is endeavoring to do just this thing, right? But at the same time, there's some divergence here, right? The dragon in Western mystery traditions is deemed to be entirely evil, but it is the serpent of the Garden of Eden. It is the feminine energy. It's the Kundalini. And to some extent, it's not meant to be slain as much as it's meant to be tamed, right? That primal, bestial energy of lust and blood sacrifice, which occurs every month with women, the menses, right? They sacrifice the blood. It's not something that the men do necessarily unless they're extremely effeminate and growing bitch tits and shit, which ain't no kind of cute, right? Keep your body tight, keep the organs tight. Don't give up on life, man. This is the workshop of the subtle origin. We're here to get shit done, right? Do good magic.
And return her to the pleroma, to divine fullness. If the Templars encoded Sophia as Baphomet using the Atbash cipher, they were signaling something profound. They were teaching that their true doctrine concerned divine wisdom, the feminine principle of creation, the Gnostic path of return to the source, knowledge that the Church had declared heretical and tried to destroy. This would explain their later veneration of Black Madonna figures, their unusual incorporation of feminine divine imagery in an age of rigid patriarchy, their respect for Mary Magdalene as a figure of supreme spiritual authority. The Atbash transformation of Baphomet into Sophia wasn't just wordplay. It was the key to understanding their entire secret teaching. But there are other interpretations of the word Baphomet, each revealing additional layers. Some scholars have suggested Baphomet derives from Greek, Baphometeos, meaning baptism of wisdom or baptism of Metis. Metis was the Greek goddess of wisdom and cunning thought, the first wife of Zeus, whom he swallowed to prevent her from bearing a son who would overthrow him. This interpretation suggests the Templars performed an actual initiation ceremony, a baptism into wisdom that transformed consciousness, a ritual transmission of gnosis that altered how the initiate perceived reality itself. The simplest interpretation connects Baphomet to Mahomet, the medieval Latin version of Muhammad. Critics accused the Templars of converting to Islam during their time in the East. This accusation was almost certainly false in the literal sense. The Templars remained publicly Christian. But there's truth beneath the surface. The Templars had extensive contact with Sufi mystics. Sufism teaches that beneath the literal interpretation of the Quran lies a hidden, esoteric meaning. That direct experience of God is possible through systematic spiritual practice. That religious forms are vehicles for truth, not truth itself. If the Templars recognized Sufism as a valid path to divine knowledge, they might have developed respect for Muhammad as an enlightened teacher while maintaining their Christian identity.
And that's the thing, right? That's a lot of the trouble we face these days, is a very overt form of idolatry. I'm sorry to say it, but a lot of Christians engage in extreme overt idolatry by proclaiming that the only way unto the Father is through Zeus, right? The J-Zeus, the J-Dog himself, the original crucified flesh sacrifice, which is just, it's a blasphemy of the teaching, really. When you take a step back and examine it with greater clarity, you'll realize that this ultimate blood sacrifice, the drinking of the blood, the eating of the flesh, that it's cacodemoniacal. It's not legit. It's not the real way you should go about it. And especially when you're trying to force feed it on other people, that's really a bastardization of the scripture. And to constantly fall into that and think that you're guiding people back towards center is so egg-headed, erroneous, and diabolical. I mean, how malevolent do you have to be to say that you must accept, right? You must accept my interpolation of the divine truth in order to be successful in reunion with the Godhead, with God's source, right? On your knees, slave, listen to me. I have something to say. That's the huge difference between a genuine teacher and a charlatan. A genuine teacher isn't going to do anything to force you towards center. They might try to guide you and provide a light and give some insight, right? And share some wisdom, and then find the light in you, the I and thou, right? And say, hey, how are you finding your way there? And then try to ask those good questions, like in a Socratic method, that will bring about the understanding of the student toward greater revelation. But that's not the way it works, man. These mainstream religitards, they're gonna fucking force feed you. They're gonna gorge you on it, right? They're gonna rape your throat with their penetrating phallic message of, here's how you got to receive the Christos, right? I gotta squeeze my fucking hairy balls and just make you have it, make you just ingest it. It's like, oh my God, how fucking gay, how lame, how retarded. What a violation, what an intrusive way to go about it. I think we all know better than that.
In an age of absolute religious tribalism, this kind of spiritual universalism would have seemed like conversion to the enemy. Some researchers propose an Egyptian origin, Baphomet, meaning the soul of Thoth manifested. Thoth was the Egyptian god of wisdom, writing, and magic. The Greeks identified him with Hermes, calling him Hermes Trismegistus, Hermes the thrice great. Hermeticism, the magical and philosophical tradition attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, was experiencing a revival in the Islamic world during the Crusades. Arabic scholars in Baghdad, Cairo, and Damascus were translating and studying Hermetic texts. The famous grimoire called the Picatrix, a massive compilation of astrological magic, was assembled in Arabic during this period, drawing heavily on Hermetic sources. If the Templars encountered Hermetic texts during their excavations or through contact with Muslim scholars, Baphomet would encode this entire tradition of ancient Egyptian wisdom. Eliphas Levi, the 19th century occultist who created the most famous image of Baphomet, explicitly connected the name to the goat of Mendes. Mendes was a city in the Nile Delta where Egyptians worshipped Banib Diadet, a ram-headed god associated with fertility and the soul. The Greeks, conflating rams and goats, called him the goat of Mendes and associated him with Pan, their god of wild nature and ecstatic sexuality.
Seriously, YouTube had to edit sexuality like there's something wrong with sex. Seriously, there's free pornography available for all who may partake of it, right? There's homosexual sex. There's heterosexual sex. There's pansexuality. There's even rape. It happens, right? I mean, good God, must our language be so chastised, circumcised, and regulated by an algobot, by an AI, that we can't even talk about sex? And they've obfuscated and conflagulated it with gender, which are entirely different things. Genderification and sexuality are not aligned, right? If I whip out my giant, hard, erect phallus and shove it up your sphincter, is YouTube going to censor that, right? Fuck off, YouTube. Come on, for Christ's sake. Are we not adults here? Isn't there like age verification now these days? And still, they're gonna... It's ludicrous. It really is. There's no greater evil than the chastising of this type of thing. It really is. It's really bad. It's malevolent. It's dire. It's malodorous. It's odious. It's all of those bad, dank things like Queen Stephanie, right? It's just bad magic.
Look for? What were they looking for? To understand that, we need to know what Solomon's temple actually was. The Bible presents it as a house of worship. But there's another tradition, preserved in texts the church later declared heretical. The Testament of Solomon, dated between the 1st and 5th centuries, describes how King Solomon commanded 72 demons using a ring inscribed with the seal of God. He forced these demons to build his temple using supernatural knowledge. And when the temple was complete, Solomon didn't release them. He bound them in brass vessels and sealed them in vaults beneath the temple. But the Testament describes something else Solomon sealed below. Quote, books containing the secret of the name written on plates of gold. Into divinity. It's the their Christian identity. In an age of absolute religious tribalism, this kind of spiritual universalism would have seemed like conversion to the enemy. Some researchers propose an Egyptian origin, Baphomet, meaning the soul of Thoth manifested. Thoth was the Egyptian god of wisdom, writing, and magic. The Greeks identified him with Hermes, calling him Hermes Trismegistus, Hermes the thrice great. Hermeticism, the magical and philosophical tradition attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, was experiencing a revival in the Islamic world during the Crusades. Arabic scholars in Baghdad, Cairo, and Damascus were translating and studying Hermetic texts. The famous grimoire called the Picatrix, a massive compilation of astrological magic, was assembled in Arabic during this period, drawing heavily on Hermetic sources. If the Templars encountered Hermetic texts during their excavations or through contact with Muslim scholars, Baphomet would encode this entire tradition of ancient Egyptian wisdom. Eliphas Levi, the 19th century occultist who created the most famous image of Baphomet, explicitly connected the name to the goat of Mendes. Mendes was a city in the Nile Delta where Egyptians worshipped Banib-Djedet, a ram-headed god associated with fertility and the soul. The Greeks, conflating rams and goats, called him the goat of Mendes and associated him with Pan, their god of wild nature and ecstatic sexuality. Levi deliberately chose this connection. He was linking Baphomet to the life force itself, to procreative energy, to libido in its cosmic sense, the drive that animates all existence. In Kabbalistic numerology, gematria assigns numerical values to Hebrew letters. Words with the same numerical sum are considered related in essence. Some Kabbalists have calculated the gematria of Baphomet and found connections to phrases describing the hidden name of God, the path of wisdom, and the process of return to divine source. While specific calculations vary depending on spelling, the consistent theme is that Baphomet relates to hidden knowledge of God's true nature. What emerges from all these interpretations is a pattern. Baphomet wasn't a demon to worship. It was a code word for a teaching that synthesized divine wisdom.
Yeah, and it's good magic, really. Like, don't worship demons. I mean, come on. Who the hell do you think you are? Don't worship, I would say, honestly, in all actuality, you shouldn't commit idolatry of any kind, according to Moses, right? Hath thou no God before me, commandeth the Great One. And it's kind of a thing I understand and other people don't get. Like, I've experienced the entire gambit of organized Christian religion in the West. I grew up Jewish, and then I went to a Lutheran school at my mother's behest, a Lutheran private school, for 10 years. And then I attended a Templar-esque military school for my last 2 years of high school. And then I actually went to a religious college as well for 2 semesters. But these people constantly engage in idolatry of the name of Jesus and other ways too. Like, it's really overt, and it always turned me off. I was like, fuck, what the fuck are you guys doing? Do you not understand the scripture at even its most basic level? And they don't. They just don't get it. That's again why, like, I'll reiterate, guys, get over there and watch Chats with Jack, old Jack Talcott. And I call him old, but he's actually younger than me, but it's just because he looks older. But get over there and check him out. The balding Panelverse guru himself, Jacques Talcott, right? He's a good man, and he gets it. He doesn't he engages in the idolatry of abstract concepts like love and peace and freedom from war and secrecy. But those things are actually more in line with the old Christo spirit, right? Whereas many of these things that other people do are not, right? I mean, what's wrong with the idea of living without fear? Yeah. I think you guys can resonate with that to some extent. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know who the fuck you are. I don't know anybody out there in Happy Land that's tuning in. You know, you guys might want to get on your knees and suck Dagon's cock, right? And say, all hail the father Dagon, all hail the mother Hydra. Cthulhu is risen.
Sophia Initiatic Transformation, Baptism of Wisdom, Universal Mysticism, Recognition of Truth in Multiple Traditions, Ancient Magical Knowledge, Hermeticism from Egypt, Life Force and Creative Power, Pan and the Goat of Mendes, Secret Knowledge of God, Kabbalistic Gnosis. The word was deliberately chosen to be multivalent, to carry different meanings for initiates at different levels of understanding. A new recruit might be told Baphomet was a relic or protective talisman. An intermediate initiate would learn it represented the wisdom traditions encountered in the East. A full initiate understood it as the complete synthesis of Gnostic, Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Sufi teachings. This is why confessions under torture were so contradictory. The Templars weren't describing a physical object. They were trying to explain a multi-layered teaching to inquisitors who could only comprehend idol worship. The bearded head, the skull, the cat, the demon with 3 faces. These were attempts to translate abstract knowledge into concrete images. The Inquisition thought they were dealing with devil worship. They had no idea they were trying to suppress a sophisticated mystery school that had synthesized esoteric wisdom from 3 continents. But the code goes deeper still.
All right, y'all. I just checked the feedback loop here on YouTube. I've got my feed pulled up, right? And I'm looking at it, and I've got, is the Baphomet evil? It's an open inquiry. I express that. I was hoping some of you might join me. I know the timing's bad, but it is what it is. It's the time that I'm available. And I've noticed that nobody has hit the like button. The only like on the video is me, myself, and I. So you know what? Fucking an hour and 20 minutes of organizing this thing and putting it together and getting like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, just all zeros. Yeah, I don't know what to do, man. I don't know how to appeal to you, to beseech you, to ask you to please hit the fucking like button, do the thing, right? Check me out on buymeacoffee.com. I mean, come on, guys, really? I'm working hard for you. I work 50 to 60 hours a week at my day job, and then I come on here and I try to open a platform to summon the wambulance, right? The fucking tears I shed for you cocksuckers out in Happy Land. Until next time, we'll just keep it going for a little while. But yeah, you're really taking the fucking jelly out of my donut. 15 people have stopped by and no one has hit the like button. Wow. What a thing. What a thing. It is what it is, right?
Because when Eliphas Levi finally created his visual representation of Baphomet in 1856, he encoded the entire Western esoteric tradition into a single, unforgettable image. We now arrive at the moment when centuries of hidden transmission crystallized into visual form, when the Baphomet code was finally made visible for anyone with eyes to see. Eliphas Levi was born Alphonse Louis Constant in Paris in 1810, the son of a shoemaker. Brilliant but poor, he entered seminary school and seemed destined for priesthood. But Constant's mind was too strange. too hungry for the church. He was expelled for his radical views. He threw himself into socialist movements, was imprisoned for his politics, and eventually dedicated himself to what he called the revival of magic. In 1854, Lévy published Dogme et Rituel de la Haute Magie, Dogma and Ritual of High Magic. This work systematically connected Kabbalah, tarot, astrology, and ceremonial magic into a unified system.
There it is there. That's it right there. We owe it all to him. We really do. Right? We owe him so much. And if it wasn't for Sir Francis Israel Regardie, none of that documentation would have been revealed to the public. And so many of us would have wandered in darkness without the Hermetic teaching. I mean, sure, there were tons of grimoires, but they were all under the control of the Catholic Church. And so he's one of the greatest catalysts, and his name should be remembered throughout time. I mean, look at how much he contributed. And we don't get on our knees and worship him like these egg-headed fucktards of their religions do. And he did so much more for bridging the gap than any other. I mean, this guy's like, I mean, I won't opine on it. Let's let the esoteric guardian lead us forward.
But it was in his 1856 work, Histoire de la Magie, History of Magic, that Lévy included an illustration that would become the most recognizable occult image in history. His depiction of Baphomet, the sabbatic goat. This image is so densely packed with symbolism that it functions as a visual encyclopedia of Western esotericism. Every detail is intentional. Every element encodes specific teachings. Let's decode it systematically. The figure sits cross-legged in meditation, immediately signaling that this concerns inner work, contemplation, spiritual practice, rather than external worship. The head is that of a goat, specifically a bearded goat. This connects to Pan, the Greek god of nature and wild.
And yes, and the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young.
Vitality. But deeper still, to Banib-Djedit, the Egyptian Ba, soul of the Lord of Djedit, whom Greeks called the Goat of Mendes. In ancient mystery religions, the goat represented life force, vitality, procreative power. In Gnostic thought, it symbolized the divine soul trapped in matter, possessing potential for both degradation and transcendence, depending on how that energy is directed. Between the horns sits a flaming torch. This is the light of consciousness, the illumination that elevates beast into divinity. It's the fire Prometheus stole from the gods, the light of gnosis that dispels ignorance. The torch emerges from a pentagram positioned with single point upward. This is crucial. An upright pentagram represents spirit ruling over the four elements of matter: fire, water, air, earth. It symbolizes human consciousness aspiring toward the divine, the light of awareness governing base nature. The inverted pentagram, by contrast, represents spirit subjugated to matter, consciousness imprisoned by animal desires. Lévy deliberately shows Baphomet with the upright pentagram, declaring this is a symbol of mastery, elevation, sovereignty over the material plane. Now we reach the most controversial element. The figure is androgynous: female breasts, masculine features, and a large phallus partially concealed by the caduceus of Hermes, two serpents intertwining around a staff. This androgyny is the absolute core of the Baphomet doctrine. In Kabbalistic cosmology, Adam Kadmon, the primordial human, was androgynous before being divided into male and female. The goal of spiritual work is restoring that primordial wholeness. In alchemical tradition, the great work culminates in the chemical wedding, the union of opposites represented by the hermaphrodite or rebus. In Gnostic texts, the highest divine emanations are both male and female or beyond gender entirely, because duality exists only in lower, fallen realms. Baphomet represents the state of spiritual completion, the human who has integrated masculine and feminine aspects, active and passive qualities, solar and lunar natures. The masculine represents directed will, active force, solar consciousness. The feminine represents receptive wisdom, magnetic power, lunar consciousness. Most humans are fragmented, identifying solely with one pole, incomplete, and seeking completion through external union. The illuminated being has achieved union internally, becoming whole, self-sufficient in the deepest spiritual sense. On the right arm, pointing upward toward a white crescent moon, is written SOLVE, dissolve. On the left arm, pointing downward toward a black crescent moon, is written COAGULA.
Yeah, solve et coagula, to dissolve and reform. It's the essential process of the Philosopher's Stone, right? You break it down and then rebuild it, you know? And we do this all the time. We break down food and then we rebuild it in the material form into our physical workshop. I've posted it once again, guys. I've put it up there. I've said, join me, take a little bit of the pressure off, get a little banter going back and forth. We're at the middle of the second hour, and yeah, I'm just going to let it be what it is, right? I'll let the video play out for a little bit. I'll do a little bit of commentary, try to add something to the conversation. But if this is what it's going to be, man, if it's the solamente Wayfarer, then we're going to cap it at 2 hours. And so if you'd like the transmission to go a little bit longer, then join me. If not, yeah, we roll on into the abodes of the future.
Coagulate. These are the fundamental operations of alchemy, but they describe far more than chemistry. Solve et coagula is the rhythm of all transformation. Break down the old form. Crystallize the new, die to who you were. Be reborn as who you're becoming. Dissolve conditioned identity. Coagulate true self. This is the death and resurrection that all genuine initiation involves. The placement on the arms is significant. The right ascending, the left descending. This represents the Hermetic principle as above, so below. The continuous exchange between spirit and matter, heaven and earth, macrocosm and microcosm. The wings are those of a bat or demon. In Neoplatonic philosophy, demons serve as intermediaries between divine and material realms. They translate spiritual intention into material manifestation. The wings declare that Baphomet exists in this intermediate realm, the magical point where transformation becomes possible. The figure's breast bears the caduceus of Hermes, two serpents intertwined around a central staff. This is one of the most ancient esoteric symbols. In Kundalini Yoga, two subtle channels called Ida and Pingala spiral around the central Sushumna channel, perfectly matching the caduceus pattern. When these forces balance through spiritual practice, Kundalini energy rises through Sushumna.
Yeah, and I've got to admit to you guys up front, I don't know any yogic Kundalini type of rising of the energy. The system I use is much simpler. It's Chinese Taoism, and one of the snakes represents the water path or the masculine energy. or the feminine energy rather, sorry. And the other is the fire path, which is the masculine energy. So you have the rising of the fire and the falling of the water, and they commingle. It's a much simpler form. You have an upper Dantian, which I refer to as the, I don't have a fucking mouse in my pocket, right? The only we I've got is me, myself, and I. So you have the descending energy of the watercourse way with the rising energy of the fiery path, and you have the commingling at the center Dantian, the heart-centered awareness. And so the celestial Dantian above commingling with the infernal energy from below, and at the center Dantian we again, just me, this is the way I've refined it, is the terrestrial Dantian. So celestial, terrestrial, and infernal. The infernal is the foundation of the earthly sphere and its so-called hell realm, right? But we're above that. We stand upon the past. We dwell in the present and we look upward toward the future. Got all these things encodified. I'd love to share them with you, but there's already a yogic, Hindu, Sifu, Hermetic, et al. And other teaching that's available to you, and you can syncretize and synthesize it in your own fashion. I don't need to present a doctrine and a dogma with idolatry. I think that the Chinese way, I think, is much easier. So simple, I could have thought of it myself.
Activating higher consciousness. The Caduceus declares that Baphomet represents this balanced, activated state. Levi himself explained his creation explicitly. He wrote that Baphomet represents the equilibrium of opposites, the intelligence formulated by our fathers, and the absolute in symbolic form. He stated, the goat represents the powers of generation, and this is also the symbol of perfect being, which is the substance of all beings. In other words, Baphomet is a visual representation of the completed great work, the human who has integrated all opposites, balanced all forces, achieved gnosis while remaining grounded in material existence.
Yeah, it's good magic. And remember, O neophyte, the great work is, before all things, mastery of oneself, both your faculties and your future. It is essentially the elevation of one's soul energy to a point where you do not die, but you live eternally.
But Levi went further. He explicitly connected his Baphomet to the Knights Templar. He wrote, the Templars had two doctrines, one concealed and reserved for leaders, being that of Johannism, the other public, being Roman Catholic doctrine. Johannism is the primitive Christianity, the secret doctrine of John the Baptist and Jesus Christ, known only to the elect. This Johannine Christianity Levi describes is essentially Gnosticism, the teaching that Christ came to reveal gnosis, secret knowledge that liberates consciousness from material imprisonment. According to Levi, the Templars encountered this authentic teaching in the East, recognized it as truth beneath all religious forms, and encoded it in the symbol of Baphomet. Whether Levi's historical claims were accurate matters less than what he accomplished. He synthesized centuries of occult transmission into a coherent system and gave it visual form so potent it would define Western esotericism for the next 150 years. The image became a teaching machine, a visual grimoire conveying complex initiatic knowledge to anyone capable of reading symbolic language. The response was predictable. Christian critics saw the goat head and pentagram and screamed Satan. They pointed to the image as proof that occultism was devil worship.
And it's so funny too, right? Like they screamed it like Karens, clutching their pearls and pulling at their hair, right? All the while lifting their skirt and engaging in direct idolatry of pagan gods, right? This pagan astrotheological god. Lollipop B #1 in the house. Be asking the hard facts. Where's all your witch bitches at, motherfucker? Yeah, they like I said, it's too early for the Western world to realize spiritual truth, and it's a little bit too late for the Eastern world to not succumb to the technocratic dominance of an entirely mechanized society. So me, myself, and I, the three of me, are dwelling in a future that has not yet been realized for you, old lollipop. Ain't nothing like a good old sweet lollipop stuffed in your mouth one time, right? I hope you don't gag on it. Yeah.
They completely missed the upright pentagram, the symbolism of integration and balance, the explicit representations of higher consciousness. Or perhaps they understood perfectly well. Perhaps that's precisely why they screamed. Because this image threatened to make the esoteric accessible, to reveal hidden doctrine to anyone willing to look beyond surface appearances. Within occult circles, the reaction was opposite. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, founded in 1888, incorporated Baphomet into their system of correspondences and grade teachings. Aleister Crowley added his own layers, connecting Baphomet to the Devil card of Tarot and the God Pan, interpreting it as the creative life force and radical individual liberty. The image became central to virtually every Western magical tradition that emerged after Lévy. But with wider dissemination came distortion. As we enter the final section of this investigation, we must confront how the Baphomet symbol has been inverted and corrupted in the modern era. And through these distortions, paradoxically, the original doctrine's power becomes even more apparent. After Lévy published, paradoxically, the original doctrine's power becomes even more apparent.
Yeah, there it is there. Modern reversals of the final revelation. Yeah, you know, what are you going to do, right? People, mundus vant decipi. The world loves to be deceived. There's not a lot left on this video, guys. We are approaching the end of the transmission. I have extended the olive branch to all y'all good-looking, sexy people out there in Happy Land. And once again, it has been trampled upon by the beasts of the field. Not only have they trampled it under their feet, they have turned on me to attempt to tear me to pieces limb by limb. They don't want to check me out on buymeacoffee.com/I'm not a criminal, right? It's right there below my icon. You can see it. They don't want to hit the like and subscribe. It's just fucking, it's how much effort is that, right? For a 2-hour transmission just to hit that button one time. They don't want to keep old boob tubes, algabots for the UEUs, you and you and you, right? The J dogs. They don't want to keep them barking, right? They're not willing to participate in the 100-day challenge. It's just too much. I mean, 100 fucking days? Good God. There was one practice I did for 9 consecutive years without missing a day. Maybe miss a day if like 1 in 100, if I was really, really, really under the gun. But to do a 9-year practice without missing a day. Hell, the adoration of Abraxas I've done for 10,000 days straight, right? And y'all good-looking, sexy people, you ain't got the vim or vigor or the jelly in your donut or the pep in your step to really get it done. I wish you did. I wish you guys could join me on the awakening, the inward path of looking within, introspection, and finding the true light within. It's really such a simple thing. 10 minutes a day for 100 days, and that's too much to ask, right? Jesus Christ gave very few commandments, as it were. He asked you to recite the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And how many of you do it every day? How many of you do it 10, 15, 20 times a day? Very few, right? You're just, you're Christians in name only, all right? Jews in name only, right? It's a sad thing when you turn your back on the light. And I'm afraid, I am personally afraid you will be turning your back on it till the end of your days, and then you will end in darkness. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I can't help those who don't want to be helped, just as God himself says, if you seek me, then ask and you shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock, knock. And all the doors of the temple shall fly open before you. But you're just not even willing to step through, right? Don't even give any kind of fucks. Just don't give a fuck. That's okay. Do your thing. Just do your thing. Keep swinging your dick. Keep shaking your moneymaker. And act like you know something with your head straight up your ass.
After Levi published his image in 1856, the symbol began migrating through Western esotericism, accumulating interpretations, inspiring both devotion and rejection. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn integrated Baphomet with precision. For Golden Dawn initiates, including the poet William Butler Yeats and the young Aleister Crowley, Baphomet corresponded to specific paths on the Kabbalistic tree of life, specific tarot cards, specific forces that had to be balanced in the magician's psyche. Their interpretation remained faithful to Levi. Baphomet as equilibrium, integration of opposites, the great work made visible. Then came Aleister Crowley, and everything became darker, stranger.
For the love of Christ, it's not Aleister Crowley, it's Aleister Crowley. His last name is Holy. Love is the law, love under will. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Mr. Crowley, what went on in your head? Oh, Mr. Crowley, did you speak with the dead?
More transgressive. Crowley styled himself the Great Beast, 666, and took perverse joy in violating every Victorian taboo. Where Levi had been scholarly and careful, Crowley was deliberately provocative. In his system of Thelema, whose central axiom is, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law," Baphomet represents the true will, unbound from moral constraints. Crowley wrote, "The devil is the creative energy in its most material form. He represents the Godhead manifesting in matter." For Crowley, what Christianity called evil, sexuality, aggression, chaotic natural forces, was actually divine creative power expressing itself in material form. This was still esoteric doctrine, still part of the initiatic stream. But it pushed boundaries in ways that would have consequences. Because in 1966, Anton LaVey founded the Church of Satan in San Francisco. And LaVey did something that fundamentally transformed Baphomet's meaning. He inverted it. LaVey created the sigil of Baphomet, LaVey's goat head placed inside an inverted pentagram, single point down, 2 points up, with Hebrew letters spelling Leviathan in the 5 points. This inversion completely changed the symbolism. Where LaVey's upright pentagram represented spirit ruling matter, LaVey's inverted pentagram represented spirit subjugated to matter. the human embracing animal nature rather than transcending it. LaVeyan Satanism is essentially materialistic atheism performing as dark religion.
Yeah, he was a bit of a carnival charlatan, right? And so, being extremely atheistic in his beliefs, he felt that the greatest sin against God was not to believe in him, right? And to engage in pure hedonism and materialism, and to abandon all things of the spirit. But you can't even exist without spirit penetrating into the physical being. It's just a fact of life. The celestial energy has to commingle with the material energy in order to animate it. I mean, yeah, you can't denounce the heavenly way. You can attempt to, but it's just another form of base idolatry, right? Like sticking a fucking lollygagging pop in your mouth and sucking it down and just be like, oh my God, I just want to fucking suck dick. I mean, fuck, how gay is that?
Lavey didn't actually believe in a literal Satan. He used satanic imagery to represent opposition to Christian morality and celebration of material success and carnal pleasure. This stripped away all genuine esoteric content, the androgyny representing integration, the solve et coagula of transformation, the ascent toward illumination. It reduced Baphomet to a middle finger aimed at Christianity. This is the Baphomet that entered mass consciousness through heavy metal album covers and horror films. This version fueled the satanic panic of the 1980s, when fundamentalists became convinced Satanists were performing ritual abuse and recruiting children. The panic was largely baseless, but
it wasn't. Because especially in LA, the city of fallen angels, Los Angeles, where I grew up, there was a lot of underground shit going on. And there was dudes luring people in through satanic music and feeding them LSD on lollipops and PCP and so on and so forth. And they were cutting folks up, cutting kids up mostly, and raping them, stuffing the lollipop down their mouth and doing all that happy horse shit. I mean, it was Simi Valley, it was pornography, it was the great decadence of the great culmination, the coagulation of the sexual revolution, right? L25, Timothy Leary's special formula for everyone, promoted by the CIA, and then crack cocaine on every corner with pimps and prostitutes and all forms of perversion. Hustler magazine, Cherry, Hot Tart, right? Whatever you wanted, it was all there. Rape your fucking grandmother, get busy, get involved in the true Frankism, right? A very Frank Monday. And so that's one erroneous incantation by this video, for sure. It doesn't even verge upon the decadence of true devilry.
it's cemented in popular imagination. Baphomet equals Satan equals evil. This distorted version has almost nothing to do with what the Templars discovered beneath Jerusalem or what Levi synthesized from esoteric tradition. It's Christian demonology inverted for shock value. But while Lavey was distorting Baphomet in one direction, other movements were developing its authentic potential. Modern Wicca and neo-paganism recognized in Baphomet a representation of the horned god, the masculine principle of fertility, wildness, natural law that complements the goddess. For Wiccans, Baphomet represents the sacredness of sexuality, cycles of death and rebirth in nature, divine presence in the material world rather than separate from it. This interpretation recovers something close to the original doctrine: integration of spirit and matter, recognition that body and desire aren't sinful obstacles but manifestations of the divine. Most recently,
eagles flying high, cats on the prowl, devils in your bed, their whispers so loud, witches on my heels, so they'll steal, running in the dark, truth they conceal. Blood on the walls, spattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think. Hounds howl at night, shadows in the light, fear in every breath, eyes wide with fright. Cards dealt by fate, no way to escape. Threads getting tight, can't see the daylight. Blood on the walls, spattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think. Cards dealt by fate, no way to escape. Threads getting tight, can't see the daylight. Blood on the walls, spattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think.
All right. That's FM Radio's Dweller of the Dark. Make sure you check it out. Get over there, hit the like button, do the thing, sub the channel. I mean, it's a nice young creator, young man with a fully erect phallic instrument, getting busy, just fucking firing his wand in all directions, right? He's getting good magic done, and I don't mind shouting him out one time here on the old FM radio. Dweller of the Dark on YouTube, guys. Good magic, and it runs deep for all of you who are in the know. And if you're not, then no se te ipsum. Fuck. Get out there and realize that tu es Dios.
Dead of night, the wind howls slow. Grim, ghastly phantom, haunt and go. Ghostly galleons, the Flying Dutchman drift by. On emerald seas where the moonbeams lie, mist-hung shadows of masts and spars, fog derelicts under haunted stars, the creak of timbers and the flap of sail, ghoulish shades from bow to aft of the rails. On a low black isle in the Louisiana swamp, strange things occur, 'tis said. Night by night, the moon glows skull white on the shores of the vengeful dead. Voodoo drums and pirate songs in cypress dim, cutlasses ring at the shoreline's brim. Boats list low in the swamp's edge, gleaming swords on a white shell ledge. Rattle of bones and rasp of spade, ghost murmurs in the palmetto glade. Fan treasure guarded eternally between. On a low black isle in the Louisiana swamp, strange things occur, 'tis said. Night by night the moon glows skull white on the shores of the vengeful dead. Undead commands and the rattle of skeletal feet, a clash of arms in the spectral retreat, murmured oaths and a bluster's roar, say almost fire on the moonlit shore. Blood sands neath the full blood moon, a battalion of ghosts by the duckweed lagoon. Skeleton swings high and free from the rotted rope of a gnarled tree. On a low black isle in the Louisiana swamp, strange things occur, 'tis said. Night by night the moon glows skull white on the shores of the vengeful dead.
Woohoo, there it is there. Yeah, magic runs deep, y'all. Good looking, sexy people out in Happy Land FM radio here. Frank Monday coming at you one time. Right? Once again, like Finnegan, if you've got a yen to expand your kin, then let's get zen. Me and you, baby. Buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Put a little something in the tip jar. Shekels. Come on now. Get them on out about your pocket. I know you got them in there. Put them in the tip jar, y'all. Good looking, sexy people. Until next time.
My soul still till the last stars decline. This vixen will take more than my wine. Damn the vampires in Judas Mill. Take and they take, never get their fill. In night under the moon's cold glow, they weave spells and secrets that only shadows know. Devils down in Judas Mill won't ever break free from her thrill. Under skies so dark and wide, she'll haunt till the last star dies. Devils down in Judas Mill, one in my heart, one in my soul still, till the last stars decline. This vixen will take more than my wine. Damn the vampires in Judas Mill. Take and they take, never get their fill. In night under the moon's cold glow, they weave spells and secrets that only shadows know. Devils down in Judas Mill won't ever break free from her thrill.
on till the last star died. Under sky so dark and wide, she'll haunt till the last star died.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's rolling into the dark abodes of the night here in Old Peking. Take a moment to join me in prayer. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness, he who was, is, and always shall be. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us one of your divine spiritual agents, our holy guardian angel, to protect and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere, and a cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Teach us those secret things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name, Adonai. So it is commanded and confirmed, so mote it be. Amen. Yeah, it is what it is, right? I mean, as you pass into the abodes of darkness, you've got to go beyond the prime material plane and retire into the shoal, where I have cast off the shells and put them in their place. So we start to taper down into the late evening. We arrive at Judian, and we recite our incantations. 九天愿雷声普化天尊 Elifbeth Gimel Dalet He Val Sein Chetet Yud Kaf Lamed Mem Nun Samakayim Pe Zari Quafreshen Tau.
We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain shall return like a drop of rain, flowing to the
ocean. We all come from the Godhead, and to him we shall return like a spark of flame rising to the heavens. Hoof and horn, all that falls shall be reborn. Corn and grain, all that dies shall rise again. We all come from the Godhead, and to him.
Command yourself to relax. Start rhythmic breathing. Let us ask for divine guidance at the beginning of each session. O Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, ruler of the light and the darkness, we adore thee and we invoke thee. Look thou with favour upon me, who now standeth before thee, and grant thine aid unto the highest aspirations of my soul, that I may be enabled to accomplish the great work, to the glory of thine ineffable name. Amen. You have achieved perfect relaxation. Your mind is at peace. You are now able to concentrate your thoughts, your feelings, your awareness. Imagine now that
All right. Yeah, it is what it is. StreamYard kicked me. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sure, it was them that kicked you. Ha 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 ha. You're s- you're so clever, right? As a keyboard warrior, I'll engage you for a minute. I'll take the lollipop, right? And I'll shove it down my gob and engage with you, dear keyboard warrior, to ask you why. Who are you? I've seen you once before that I recall. Once or twice you've chimed in here on the old Frank Monday channel and FM radio, right? Freemason radio. And you've said hello, but you don't seem to be a kind spirit. You seem to be a nefarious malefactor of some kind. Are you a what is the word? A hater of human life? Are you a demon? A demoniacal being that manifests from the lower aethers, the gaseous, dank sewer realm? Did Queen Stephanie send you? Is that are you here at the behest of the leader of Team Evil himself, herself, itself, right? Is that what has brought you here, Wayfarer, right? Why would you attack a small, itty-bitty channel like mine, right, with 0 viewers? Literally, I've got 0 viewers. I've got you. It's just you and me. It's I and thou, right? And what pleasure, why would that give you pleasure to assault an unknown, irrelevant dude sitting in his fucking apartment, right? Just hanging out, trying to chill, trying to get a little bit of a social interaction here on the boob tube, right? The YouTube, the UEUbes. And I don't get it. I really don't. Right? Like, why would you show up and not even have the fucking common? You're the type of guy or gal, whatever. You know, if you're a guy, you're the type of guy that would fuck another motherfucking nigger up the ass and not even have the common courtesy to give him a reach around. He's getting in there, and you won't even give him a reach around, right? Not even a little fucking throat choke. Nothing, right? You get 0 out of it. And if you're a gal, you're the type of gal that would peg a dude and just ride and ride and ride until your little fucking wet vaginal box finally sponged out some secretion. And you wouldn't even slap a motherfucker in the face. Not even one time, right? Just one time. Just slap me in the mouth one time. No, gimp, right? You'd fasten on the chains a little tighter, and you wouldn't even get dirty with it. Get jiggy with it. Just fucking jerk that motherfucker one time. None of that even happens, right? It's a sad thing, right? Do you understand what sad means? SAD, suck a dick. There you go. I broke it down for you. Finally, now you know. Now you know without any reservation. Now you know that every time I say you're sad, I'm just telling you to suck a motherfucking dick one time. Just suck a dick, stuck it down your lollygagging, lollipopping mouth, and just fucking jerk it off until I come down your throat, all right? And with that said, I mean, what a pleasure that would be to worship the phallus, right? Lick the tip a little bit and get in there. I mean, I have a beautiful cock. You may have never seen it before. You probably haven't, right? Unless you're on Pornhub and you know, like, my specific handle. But the one time in my entire life, I'm 54 years old, the one time I've spent time with a prostitute, she told me, and this was a prostitute, an older gal, like in her mid-40s, she said, "You have the most beautiful cock I've ever seen." I mean, that's quite a thing, right? I mean, fuck. She was like looking at a Van Gogh, a Monet, a Da Vinci, a Mona Lisa, and for that coming from a prostitute at that age, it's undeniable, right? I mean, it is what it is. It's a beautiful thing, and so you would thoroughly enjoy gobbling my gook. I know you would. You motherfucker. You asshat. You absolute piece of shit. How dare you steal my childhood, right? How dare you poison my ocean with your plastiques, right? You should be ashamed of yourself. Oh, fuck. It's so redundant. It's so ad nauseum. It's so reducto ad absurdio. Yeah. Yeah, you're a nasty little bastard, aren't you? Are you a bastard or a bitch? Which is it? Yeah, talk to the hand. Yeah, you're funny though. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the feedback loop. If it wasn't for you and Ricardo Sunshine, I mean, we'd have nothing. We wouldn't even have had a transmission that would have gone beyond 2 hours. I mean, fuck. You squeezed a couple of extra minutes out of me, right? Like old Eazy-E.
Depends on how you said it. Like you say, what's up, nigga? Then that's cool. But if you just say, nigga, then I'm gonna take it different. I might be over there, you be pulling me off of it, you know?
Now, if a white person walks up to Eazy-E and says, hey, nigger.
Depends on how you said it. Like you say, what's up, nigga? Then that's cool. But if you just say, nigga, then I'm gonna take it different. I might be over there, you be pulling me off of it, you know?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, old Eazy. That's the hood I grew up in, right? Poor Eazy, man. Motherfucking woke up quick at about noon. Just thought that I had to be in Compton soon. I got to get busy before the day begins, before Lollipop starts bitching about my friends. About to go and damn near went blind. Young niggers at the hood throwing up gang signs. Mac 10 on my hip. Yeah, it's crazy shit, man. You don't know. You're just a fag bag. You're like a bag full. You're like a fucking burlap sack full of moldy dick tips. You ain't got nothing to offer, nothing to say. Blessings to you, Ricardo Sunshine. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate y'all good looking motherfuckers. I will see you on the next transmission, right? I mean, I dropped the link. Ain't nobody gonna hit it. Just like and subscribe. Put the shekels in the old money box, and get busy getting busy. Make those fucking YouTube algobots bark like Pavlov's dog. And until next time, be well and much love. Love, light, and peace. I will see you, hopefully, in the abodes of the future. Until next time, bye for now.